Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. This is Battleground 2018. Let's get you the headlines. Less than 48 hours to go for the end of campaigning in Rajasthan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses rally in Jodhpur, asks Congress what have the leaders from the Gandhi family done over the years. BJP President Amit Shah accuses Congress of neglecting state at various public meetings. Congress also raises the campaign pitch in Rajasthan. State Party President Sachin Pilot seeks support for party candidates in Junjunu, Sikar, Jaipur and Ajmer. Former Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot compares his government's work with incumbent Vasundhara Raje's government. RST's Vote Yatra reaches Bundi Hadoti region of Rajasthan. Arvind Kumar Singh tells us all about the political climate of a place that's rich in agriculture potential and has a wealth of heritage that is an object of interest of tourists, domestic as well as foreign. In Telangana's Gajwel constituency, where the political fortunes of caretaker Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao will be on test, Kriti Mishra tries to understand the mind of the common voter. And in our big story, it's raining election promises in Telangana. All major parties release poll manifestos, from unemployment allowance to farm loan waivers, from jobs, laptops to the youth and regulation of liquor sales. Parties flood the electorate with assurances. It's time for our big story now. Telangana is in full election mode, with the TRS also releasing its manifesto for the polls on Sunday. The BJP and Congress-led Praja Kutami had already released their poll promises last week. So the parties have all made their appeals to the people, leaving the choice to the electorate. As the voters make their decision, the parties too have busy days ahead. The Congress party is dealing with infighting ever since it took the lead in forming the Praja Kutami or People's Alliance. Here's a report on what's happening in Telangana.
Telangana's caretaker Chief Minister and TRS Chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao has released the official manifesto of the Telangana Rashtra Samiti. The manifesto was released at a public meeting in Hyderabad on Sunday. The TRS manifesto talks of 24 important points. Among these 24 promises is one, to continue the fight for the implementation of 33% reservation to backward castes and 33% reservation to women in legislatures. The party also promises that all types of Asara pensions will be enhanced from 1,000 rupees to 2,016 rupees, while the pensions of differently abled persons will be enhanced from 1,500 rupees to 3,016 rupees. An unemployment allowance of 3,016 rupees has also been promised. The manifesto also promises enhancement of retirement age of government servants by 3 years to 61. And for the farmers of the state, there is the promise of a 1 lakh rupee loan waiver. Last week, the BJP had released what it calls a People's Manifesto, showcasing the aspirations of the people of Telangana, promising farm loan waivers up to 2 lakh rupees, free laptops to degree students and free distribution of cows to 1 lakh people every year. The party also has plans for the regulation of liquor sale, asserting that it will not see liquor sales as a source of revenue.
The Telangana people were fought for the cause of Telangana, the employment problem, education, health and agriculture. These are the main sectors where Telangana was suffering. Now we are incorporated mainly and focused on these sectors, and even the welfare. Development and welfare simultaneously sail together, and Telangana is such a state, we have got plenty of resources, but unfortunately the policies of the earlier governments made the government into debts. Not only that, even the liquor policy You have seen Gujarat. At least a partial policy could have been implemented, but now Telangana, they're getting income from liquor, excise, nearly 50,000 crores. When the state was formed, it was only 14,000 crores.
In addition to implementation of the Union government's Ayushman Bharat scheme, the BJP manifesto promises steps to set up generic medicine centers in every administrative unit.
Even our government has neglected the Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat, which is 5 lakhs free of cost premium, and to the people, poor people of this state have been ignored. When BJP comes to power, we are going to definitely implement the 5 lakhs Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat program, and also the implementation of the construction of houses to the poor. Modi's dream, by 2022, every shelterless man should get a Pakka house. That we are going to fulfill. If we doesn't fulfill that target within a year, we are going to pay 5,000 as a rent to the poor, deserving people.
The Congress, on the other hand, claims that it stands for the marginalized sections of the society, and its manifesto has been formed keeping this in mind. The party has said that if voted to power, it will spend 25% of its budget on education.
Education and health are the paramount importance in our country, and especially the developing states like Telangana, Odisha and other states where the literacy percentage is also less.
Meanwhile, the party is fighting differences within over its alliance with the TDP as part of the Praja Kutami. Patola Karthik Reddy, son of former minister Sabita Indra Reddy, is miffed with the party for allotting the Rajendra Nagar seat to TDP as part of the alliance. Resigning from the party, Reddy says he wants the seat for the Congress as the TDP does not have strong candidates or even a vote bank. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And joining us for a chat right now, live from Telangana, is our correspondent Kriti Mishra. Well, Kriti, the TRS there, the last party on the block to announce or to release its manifesto. As far as the manifesto is concerned, what really stands out? And is it really different from the manifestos released by the other parties? It doesn't seem so on the face of it.
Well, Frank, the TRS has also promised SOPs for the farmers and also SOPs for the unemployed, and has laid special focus on the reservation of the BCs and also of women. But remember, all these political parties, Frank, are making tall promises in their manifestos, but they have to also think about the financial resources. Remember, Telangana started with a fiscal surplus, but today stares at a deficit of around 2 lakh crore rupees. For instance, if we talk about Congress's manifesto, for completion of all those promises, the Congress or the government, the next government, whichever government whichever party comes to power here in Telangana, for fulfillment of the promises made by the Congress in its manifesto, the amount needed is around 1 lakh crore rupees. So that is the biggest question. Similarly, the BJP has also made several promises of giving laptops to the degree students and also SOPs and also farm loan waiver to the farmers. So certainly all quarters there are promises coming in, but we also, the political parties, in fact, a lot of experts are also talking about where would the resources come from. So that has become a talking point among the intellectuals here in Telangana. Frank?
Of course, as far as the intellectuals are concerned, they're worried about where the money is going to come from as far as these SOPs are concerned. But what about the common man and the voter on the ground? Are these manifestos really striking a chord with any of them? Are they concerned about what's in the manifesto?
Well, absolutely, Frank. As far as the common people are concerned, they are talking about what kind of promises these political parties are making. Because remember, as far as the TRS is concerned, it claims that it has unveiled the biggest developmental schemes in the country as far as any state is concerned. But the TRS also faces the exasperation of host of unfulfilled promises. Similarly, as far as the BJP is concerned, it is making a point to the voters that the benefits of the central sector schemes are not being percolated in Telangana, and also accuses the TRS government here of financial shenanigans. So that is again a talking point. And as far as the Congress party is concerned, it says that the focus of the Congress party is on education and health. So the parties are trying to build momentum around their manifestos, but which party actually reaps the benefits out of these manifestos, that we'll really get to know on 11th of December when we'll have the verdict of the people.
All right, Kriti Mishra.
एक सवाल मेरा था कि जिस तरीके से आपने, क्योंकि अलग अलग आप रीजन पे गए तेलंगाना के, और तीनों ही पार्टियों के घोषणा पत्रों को मैं देखूं, कोई ऐसा मुद्दा आपको लगता है जो कि पब्लिक के बीच में था लेकिन घोषणा पत्र में नहीं जगह मिल पाई है? कृति, आवाज आ रही है आपको?
जी जी कविंद्र।
कृति, क्योंकि आपने पूरे तेलंगाना को बहुत करीब से देखा, अलग अलग रीजन में आप गई हैं, कोई ऐसे मुद्दे आपको दिखे जो अब तक घोषणा पत्र सामने आए हैं तीनों ही पार्टियों की ओर से, उसमें उसे जगह ना मिली हो, कोई ऐसे मुद्दे आप बता सकती हैं?
कविंद्र, देखिए जो सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा तेलंगाना की अगर मैं बात करूं तो जो है वो फार्मर्स सुसाइड का है, क्योंकि जब से ये नया स्टेट बना है तब से तकरीबन 3000 से ज़्यादा फार्मर्स सुसाइड हो गए हैं। इसलिए हमने देखा है कि सभी राजनीतिक दल कोई ना कोई सॉप फार्मर्स के लिए ज़रूर बोल रहे हैं। और उसके अलावा जो दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है वो युवाओं का मुद्दा है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का, क्योंकि अगर तेलंगाना की बात करें तो ऐसा ये तीसरा प्रदेश है जहाँ पर जो ग्रेजुएट्स हैं उनमें सबसे ज़्यादा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है। तो उसके लिए भी सभी जो राजनीतिक दल हैं उन्होंने भी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट डोल आउट की बात की है। तो कहा जा सकता है कि जो जमीनी मुद्दे हैं उनको ध्यान में रखकर सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने अपना मैनिफेस्टो तैयार किया है। कविंद्र,
शुक्रिया कृति आपका ताज़ा अपडेट हमें वहां से देने के लिए। और हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में दो बेहद खास मेहमान हैं, शेखर अय्यर, वरिष्ठ पत्रकार। शेखर, स्वागत है आपका। के प्रसाद हमारे साथ हैं रिपोर्ट से, आपका भी स्वागत है। शेखर, जिस तरीके से हम गठबंधन की राजनीति देख रहे हैं तो घोषणा पत्र जो आए हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं गठबंधन की मजबूरी में घोषणा पत्रों में उन मुद्दों को शामिल किया गया है जिससे पहले यही पार्टियां शायद उन मुद्दों के खिलाफ एक दूसरे के खिलाफ मैदान में थी।
बिल्कुल, हम घोषणा पत्र से ये बड़ा स्पष्ट है कि एक प्रकार से कॉम्पिटिटिव पॉपुलिज्म, यानी किसी तरह वोट को हासिल करना है तो आप प्रॉमिस कर दो, फिर बाद में देखा जाए कैसे हम करें। और क्योंकि कोई अगर 1 करोड़ माफ़ी की बात कर रहा है तो कोई 2 करोड़ की, कोई 1000 की जो बेरोजगार है उनको देने की बात कर रहा है। क्योंकि बड़ा सवाल जो है कि जो हम सबको चिंतित होना है कि गरीब को मदद होनी चाहिए, वो बिल्कुल सही बात है। और जो अति पिछड़े वर्ग हैं उनको सारा सहायता देना चाहिए। लेकिन इस तरह की जो कॉम्पिटिटिव पॉपुलिज्म जहाँ पे हमने देखा तमिलनाडु में था, तमिलनाडु में एक एक पार्टी देते गए, कोई ग्राइंडर दिया, कोई ऐसा दिया। मुझे ये एक डर है कि आप कितना देते जाओगे, क्योंकि सवाल है कि फिर वो रिसोर्सेस पे आता है कि एक राज्य जो है, तेलंगाना आज अच्छी स्थिति में है, उसकी जो फाइनेंशियल स्थिति आंध्रा से अच्छा है, बाकी राज्यों से अच्छा है, लेकिन इस तरह की प्रॉमिसेस देने के बाद कैसे इसको लागू करेंगे। हम अभी देख रहे हैं कर्नाटक में कांग्रेस और जेडीएस दोनों ने वादा किया था अलग अलग से कि कर्जा माफ़ करेंगे किसानों का, लेकिन जब सरकार बन गई उसके बाद जब इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात आई तो कई कठिनाइयाँ आई हैं। तो आज तक वो इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ है। अभी भी इनोमरेशन चल रहा है कि किस किसान को कितना देना है, किस बैंक को कितना बाकी है, क्योंकि फाइनेंशियल हार्ड रियलिटी है कि इतना आप दे नहीं सकेंगे क्योंकि उतना क्षमता नहीं है, क्योंकि आप टैक्स नहीं बढ़ा सकते, फिर केंद्र सरकार से रिसोर्स मांगेंगे, कहेंगे पैकेज दो, ये दो, वो दो। तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं चुनाव के समय में एक बिना कंट्रोल कभी कभी कई चीज़ें वादा किए जाते हैं, फिर बाद में वादा तोड़ने की बात होती है।
Moving on from the manifestos and everything that's listed in the manifestos, because we spoke in great detail about it on Friday as well. Let's talk about the alliance now. Did the TRS at some point in time underestimate the alliance, the Mahakutami?
Well, I think if what we read in the TRS, it's not a question of underestimated, they never estimated they'll come together. It was a simple
arch rivals,
yes.
Coming together.
It was like, East and North Pole and South Pole. Technically, because everybody knows the history of TDP was found, the very basis was anti-Congressism. It was something unimaginable that these two parties could come together. So once that became a reality, it really changed the matrix. The landscape changed. And adding to it, because of Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao's personal way and other things, some of his own party leaders who were known, like Mr. Kodandaraman, who was found the TJS, these people were the intellectual heft, part of the the intellectual capital that they brought to the. Eventually, they felt they were not getting their due. They neglected, and so on and so forth. So they gradually drifted away. So all these factors add up. And so this alliance became, and CPI in particular has actually a better stake, also better control, and its cadres are, its party has more in Andhra, the undivided Andhra, and particularly this part which is now in Telangana. So CPI was the main party, CPM was not so powerful. So that's why you see CPI is also trying to regain some of its lost ground through this alliance. So all these three parties with TDP together, so their stakes have, it's a matter of survival for them and how they can change the matrix as it goes along to the Lok Sabha.
You know, the anti-KCR sentiment is what brought all these people together, but they've also been able to go beyond that, Shekhar. I mean, it's not just limited to anti-KCR at this point in time.
No, I think the objective was to prevent the division of anti-TRS votes. Because the idea was that since all of them, I mean, it's like this. You know, my friend's enemy is also my enemy, you know. So therefore, if the common enemy factor is TRS, and if we stand together, probably we can ensure the votes are not divided. Now, in this, I would call the least, I would say, you know, factor is TDP. Now, TDP had nothing much at stake in actually in Telangana, other than it feels there is an old enmity between Chandrababu Naidu and KCR. And second thing is, Chandrababu feels in the post-Lok Sabha election scenario, there is a possibility that KCR may be backing the BJP. So therefore, his idea is you try to contain KCR in Telangana itself. And a victory for Rahul-led Congress, he feels probably he can work out a similar arrangement in Andhra Pradesh, where Congress is one of the main challengers. Of course, there is a lot of focus on Jagan Mohan Reddy, but Congress is one of the main challenges in Andhra Pradesh. That
having been said, does that mean the TDP feels all is not well in Andhra?
Yes, it does. It does feel, I mean, though it has not acknowledged so openly, the fact that Chandrababu Naidu had a lot of plans for the newborn Andhra Pradesh, but then he got constrained by two factors. One, his plans were too big and too ambitious. Secondly, you know, with that kind of plan, when you have anything, you don't talk less than 20,000 crores, it's very difficult to roll it out on the ground because center, no matter how sympathetic it is, cannot straight away give you 20,000 crores for some new capital to be built. After all, Chhattisgarh got new Raipur. 10 years, you know, the whole planning started only after 10 years. Today, you see new Raipur, which has come after 15 years. But in Andhra Pradesh, when he had cities like Vishakhapatnam, he had Vijayawada, he had, you know, these are Vishakhapatnam, it was a huge city. But he chose a new, you know, green capital, that is Amravati. So obviously he needs a lot of money and that kind of things he doesn't have to show. So therefore, and his problem is Jagan Mohan Reddy because Jagan Mohan Reddy is seen as a challenger and a strong challenger. So I feel Chandrababu's bid to help Congress will have a quid pro quo so that you can see some kind of an understanding being reached in Andhra Pradesh.
लेकिन वाकई ऐसा ही है कि तेलंगाना का चुनाव अपोजिट आइडियोलॉजी के साथ अगर एक साथ खड़े हुए हैं तो निगाहें न सिर्फ तेलंगाना पर हैं बल्कि आंध्रा पर है और आगे चलकर 2019 को लेकर जो एक बड़ी पिक्चर है वहां पर एक की फैक्टर की बात हो रही है।
देखिए, दोनों तेलुगु भाषी राज्य हैं तो एक तो कॉमन फैक्टर तो वो होता ही है। साथ ही साथ ये है कि आंध्रा में इस वक्त चंद्रबाबू नायडू की सरकार है और जैसे शेखर जी ने बात की, उन्होंने वादे बहुत बड़े किए, काफ़ी परिकल्पना उनकी बहुत थी, वो पूरी तरह ज़मीन पे यथार्थ नहीं हो पाई, तो ये एक समस्या तो उनकी रहेगी। तो और वैसे भी जो सरकार चलाती है उसके एंटी इनकम्बेंसी का फैक्टर तो आता ही है। और पिछले कुछ दिनों में या कुछ महीनों में बताया जा रहा है कि जगन रेड्डी और उसकी पार्टी वाईएसआर कांग्रेस की साख थोड़ी बड़ी है, तेजी से उनका ग्राफ बढ़ा है, तो वो एक चिंता का विषय है। कांग्रेस वहाँ शायद आज चौथे नंबर पे कहा जाता है। मतलब अगर लोगों की बात करें तो भाई टीडीपी तो है ही, उनको सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो है वाईएसआर कांग्रेस दे रहा है। और वाईएसआर कांग्रेस के बाद कोई अगर आगे निकल के आता है, कहते हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी, तो कांग्रेस जैसे तेलंगाना में कांग्रेस लुप्ती थी एक तरह से, ठीक है, वो बन गई बाद में आकर, तो परिस्थिति भौगोलिक उनकी अलग है। और नायडू को ये तैयारी करनी है कि ना सिर्फ खुद को आगे अपनी सरकार को बचाए रखना है, कहीं ना कहीं राष्ट्रीय में अपनी पेंठ बनाए रखे। अगर आपको याद हो, कुछ महीने पहले चंद्रशेखर राव ने भी पहल की थी, मैं तीसरा मोर्चा चौथा मोर्चा शुरू करूंगा। वो ममता जी से मिलने चले गए थे, मुलाकातें हुई लेकिन कोई बात आगे बनी नहीं, तो बात रह गई। और उसके बाद वो ठंडे बस्ते में उनका प्लान हो गया और वो अपनी राजनीति में अपने उसमें आगे उनको भी दिख रहा है। और अगर देखा जाए तेलंगाना राष्ट्र समिति के जो गठन हुआ, वो हुआ क्यों? चंद्रशेखर राव तब चंद्रबाबू नायडू की सरकार में थे और स्पीकर थे, डिप्टी जो भी, वो छोड़ के उन्होंने विद्रोह किया, अपनी पार्टी अलग बनाई, निकल के आए। तो एक राजनीतिक जिसे कहते हैं प्रतिस्पर्धा दोनों के बीच में रही है, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं दर्शाएगा भी राजनीति में, उसका कहीं ना कहीं फर्क तो दिखता ही है।
लेकिन शेखर, क्या इसका प्रैक्टिकल अगर मैं कहूँ ग्राउंड पर जो है वो उतना आसान दिखता है कि कल तक वो दल जो एक दूसरे के खिलाफ थे, चाहे वो आंध्रा की बात हो और सेंटर को लेकर रहा हो, और वो अगर आज साथ खड़े होते दिखते हैं तो जो मतदाता है वो बहुत आसानी से उनके गले उतर जाता है वो गठबंधन?
देखिए, वैसे मैंने कहा कि टीडीपी का ज़्यादा फैक्टर नहीं है तेलंगाना, केवल जो आंध्रा के लोग जो रहते हैं हैदराबाद सिकंदराबाद में, उनका समर्थन हो सकता है। लेकिन चंद्रबाबू नायडू का इस सारा पहलू का एक ही काम है कि भाई किसी तरह कांग्रेस के खिलाफ जो वोट है वो डिवाइड ना हो जाए, वो अपना भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। लेकिन कर्नाटक में हमने क्या देखा? हमने देखा कांग्रेस जेडीएस ने अपने दोनों विरोध करके चुनाव लड़े। बीजेपी थर्ड पार्टी था, बीजेपी सिंगल लार्जेस्ट इमर्ज हुए, लेकिन दोनों चुनाव के दौरान जो भी बातें की गई, सिद्धरामैया जी हो, देवगौड़ा जी हो या कुमारस्वामी हो, बातें भूलकर इकट्ठे आ गए, एक सरकार बना लिए। तो वहां पे वोटर का क्या था? जहां पे वोटर, देखिए साउथ कर्नाटका, अगर मैं कर्नाटक का इसलिए उदाहरण दे रहा हूं, ये जो सवाल है कि चुनाव पहले जिस तरह लड़ते हैं फिर इकट्ठा आ जाते हैं, वो एक हमारी कोalition की एक्सपेरिमेंट है जो कर्नाटक बड़ा नमूना है। दूसरा है, कम से कम तेलंगाना में ये तो प्री पोल अलायंस है, तो ये अपने आप में प्री पोल अलायंस मैं मानता हूँ थोड़ा रिस्पेक्टेबल है, क्योंकि पोस्ट पोल लगता है कि भाई आपने अब
मोरल ग्राउंड पे है, प्री पोल
कम से कम एक मोरल ये है। तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे तेलंगाना बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है, इसीलिए वोट नहीं डिवाइड होना है और साथ आने की कोशिश हो रही है। और क्योंकि यहाँ भी 5 साल रहे हैं केसीआर के गवर्नमेंट, तो उनको एंटी इनकम्बेंसी इश्यूज है ही, क्योंकि आप जितना भी आप सरकार करें, जितना भी कोई सिटिंग गवर्नमेंट कहें कि भाई हमने ये किया, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ छूट जाता है। और आजकल लोगों की अपेक्षाएं जो हैं, अगर आपने 5 दिया तो कहते भाई 10 क्यों नहीं दिया, तो 10 दिया तो क्यों 15 नहीं दिया। तो ये हर सरकार ने फील की है, हर पार्टी ने फील किया है, क्योंकि एनडीए सरकार ने भी 2004 में जब 98 से लेकर 94 में एक चुनाव हुआ, फिर 2004 में जब जा रहे थे उनको भी लगा कि हमने काफ़ी किया है तो लोग हमें इंडोर्स करेंगे, लेकिन परिणाम और कुछ हुआ। तो यहाँ भी केसीआर ने चुनाव 6-7 महीने पहले ही किए, इसीलिए किए ये सोच के कि कहीं विधानसभा चुनाव, पार्लियामेंट चुनाव से कहीं वो ये ना हो जाए और कहीं इधर उधर इनकम्बेंसी अपने ऊपर ना आ जाए। क्या केंद्र, क्योंकि लोग मानते हैं कि इनका अच्छा रिश्ता है प्रधानमंत्री से, बीजेपी से कोई ज़्यादा कोई टेंशन नहीं है, तो कहीं वो ना लग जाए कि ये तो बी टीम है। जैसे आज राहुल गांधी कह रहे हैं भाई टीआरएस इनका बी टीम है, और उस बी टीम में उन्होंने ओवैसी को भी जोड़ लिया क्योंकि मजलिस केसीआर के साथ है।
Interesting calculations and permutations there as far as Telangana is concerned. But very quickly, talking about, the votes not being divided, there seem to be cracks appearing, or there are cracks. There were cracks right from the beginning as far as the Grand Alliance is concerned. They're calling it, Grand Alliance is calling it friendly contest. But are they going to be that friendly? And are they going to be able to keep it together post December 11th?
See, this is, of course, a very difficult question to answer in the sense what happens post-December 2nd. It all depends on what kind of numbers throw up, what kind of results throw up, because then it will change it. But the attempt is, just to add to what Shekhar told you and what the question that was directed to Shekhar, it's always said in politics, there is no permanent friends, there are only permanent interests. So each party would try to protect its interest to the best, and that's why you see different parties at different times joining hands or leaving hands together. I think the most classic example in the recent time was the Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party coming together. Again, something quite similar to what, in fact, it's not quite similar, but a little more similarity to the TDP and Congress coming together. Though SP, BSP, way back in the 90s, actually ran a government together. So there was some element of coming back. So I think politics, as I said, there's nothing except your own interest, the party's permanent interest that guides you. People also understand. It's not that there's, I mean, ideology, of course, only those hardcore committed to ideology, they would stick. But
Right.
otherwise, candidates count, kind of manifestos or promises made count, and how much of anger. Sometimes it is a negative vote which translates into vote for the other parties.
Absolutely.
बहुत शुक्रिया आप दोनों मेहमानों का हमारे साथ इस चर्चा में शामिल होने के लिए। और फ्रैंक, आज के इस शो को मैं यहीं पर ख़त्म करना पड़ेगा और फिलहाल हम दोनों को दीजिए इजाज़त और कल फिर होगी मुलाकात चुनाव से जुड़ी हर खबर के साथ। नमस्कार।